She is running for a critical Senate seat in the state of Arizona, one of the most hotly contested races we're going to see, other than the presidential, in this cycle. Kari Lake of Arizona is with us now. Kari, good to talk to you again.
Oh, it's good to be on, Buck. I hope everything is going great in your world.
So far, so good. Thanks so much.
Well,
Clay had to
maybe
run
not.
to a
Actually,
flight, but he sends his
consider,
regards.
considering Joe Biden is, in the White House, things aren't going so well in the world, unfortunately.
We got some problems, that's for sure. But before I
Yeah.
dive into your state, what's going on there, I just wanted to know what are your thoughts in reaction to not only what we saw over the weekend with Iran and Israel, but the Biden administration's positioning and public statements on it so far.
Well, my thoughts are that this wouldn't even be happening if we had President Trump in the White House. I mean, let's face it, Joe Biden has empowered Iran to be a globalist bully, to be a globalist, sponsor of terror around the globe. And this is what's causing these problems. So my thoughts are that anything Joe Biden touches has just been disastrous. We had peace in the world under President Trump. Like him or hate him, we had peace in the world. And these, countries that were sponsoring terrorism were not in control. And now Joe Biden is not feared. He's not respected. He's feeble and weak. And none of these countries even care to deal with him. He's the one who enabled them to have the money to pull all of this off, Iran. And so I've got a real problem with the way he's handling it, and I can't wait for November 5th to roll around so we can turn this nightmare around and finally bring some peace back to the world.
Let's speak a bit, Kari, about what's going on in your state where you're running for that critical Senate seat. Um, there was a moment, it seemed, of I think almost unreserved glee from much of the Democrat media last week when they started to report on this state Supreme Court decision for an 1864 law that doesn't go into effect but could go into effect, and then they start attacking you and say that, well, you're on both sides of the issue and now Gallego can win. And can you just untangle that mess for us a little bit? Tell us where you are on this issue and how you're going to um, beat Gallego in Arizona for this seat.
Well, isn't it sick how the Democrats take such glee in this issue? And they're pushing for the extreme abortion measures of abortion right up until the moment of birth and after. We know that's what they're pushing for because that's what these laws that they're pushing are all about. Look, this pre-territorial law from 1864 is not in effect in Arizona. No matter what the media says, no matter what all these outlets say, no matter what some people on our side say, this is not the law right now. It doesn't matter what the Arizona Supreme Court says because our AG will not enforce this law. The only people who could enforce it would be the sheriffs, and I haven't heard one sheriff stand up and say that he will enforce this law. So this law is really not in effect. So take that law off the books and now realize what we're marching into. We're marching into November where the ballot measure on the ballot in Arizona that will pass at this point, it looks like it's going to pass, is abortion up until 9 months. Planned Parenthood helped write this measure. They say it's 22 weeks, but there are so many loopholes for abortion right up until 9 months. And we have a bunch of legislators in our legislature right now who could do something about it, but they don't want to because they want to get their 5-star rating from the pro-life groups. They're so worried about their rating from the pro-life groups that they're willing to allow Arizona to end up being a state where we have abortion up until 9 months. Buck, I'm on a campaign trail. I talk to more Arizonans than anybody in the country. They are not for abortion up until 9 months. They are not for a 14-year-old girl going into an abortion clinic without her mom and dad by her side knowing what's going on. That is not where Arizona is. But the Democrats have nothing else to run on. And so they're going to run on this issue because they have made sure that our border is wide open. They've created an invasion unlike we've ever seen before in our country. They've created a crime wave in our cities, making it impossible for us to go enjoy quality of life in our cities and enjoy a walk through the park or a bike ride or even driving through the cities without worrying about being carjacked. And they've collapsed our economy to the point that Americans cannot afford everyday living their everyday expenses. They can't afford groceries and gas. They have nothing to run on except this. And I will tell you, in talking to Arizonans, this is not their top priority. They want to save as many babies as possible. That's my goal. I am pro-life. My goal is not to get a 5-star rating from any organization. My goal is to get more babies saved. How can
So,
we
Kari,
save more
what would you
babies?
like to that end? What would you like the state of Arizona to do between now and the election?
Well, I think the legislators could, by the way, they're the ones, the same group in this legislature passed that 15-week law that we used to have, and they all voted for it, and now they're saying it's horrible. But push that aside. I think we need to work to get some sort of a common sense initiative on the ballot so that we can go against this 9-month abortion in Arizona. No matter what they say about it, that's what the current initiative on the ballot is. It'll have abortion right up until 9 months. So they need to work together. I don't have a say in that, Buck. I wish I was sitting in the governor's office. I really do, and I would be helping them, but I don't have a say in it. I only have one vote come November 5th. But I will tell you, when I am in the U.S. Senate, I will not vote for one federal dollar to be spent on abortion, and I won't vote for a federal abortion ban. We worked hard to bring down the unconstitutional Roe v. Wade, and now it's in the state's hands. Regardless of what happens, we're going to have 50 different abortion laws. So we're going to have to deal with the fact that somewhere in America, abortions are happening, and how do we go into the hearts and minds and start changing the culture? That's what they did in Hungary. This is why I've shifted a bit, because I had opportunity to go to Hungary, and I learned that they cut the number of abortions in half without changing a single law. And it made me realize we are so focused on weeks and months and laws, and we're not focused on the real issue, which is saving babies and helping women. And that's what I want to do. That's what I want. That's what I want the Republican Party to be about. I want the Republican Party to be the party of women, babies, and family, and put our money where our mouth is. Planned Parenthood's ballot measure that they have planned for Arizona is the same as New York and California. And I can tell you right now, the people of Arizona are not in the same mindset as those people who voted for that in New York and California.
Now, outside of your own race, how do you think it's looking for the matchup with President Trump and Joe Biden? And are they basically planning to just run the same playbook that they're going to run against you, which is just misrepresent the abortion issue and hope that that alone can deliver Arizona into Democrat hands?
Well, let me tell you, the media here is just disgusting. I mean, I think it's the worst media in the whole country, to be honest. They will misrepresent anything. I mean, I'm going around this state. I'm here up in Mojave County right now, which is very Republican. We drew a crowd of 1,000 people last night. I've been to 7 stops. Every single stop I've been to has been maximum plus capacity, standing room only. And the people are ready to vote for me for Senate. They do not want Ruben Gallego. He is a far-left Chicago Democrat. Actually, he's a socialist. I'm going to take that back. He's a socialist who voted for open borders, sanctuary cities. He's voted with Joe Biden 100% of the time. He wants to raise gas prices by $1 to punish people who drive gas-powered vehicles. He's up for abortion up until 9 months. And listen, I'm not going to be lectured by a guy like Ruben Gallego, who walked out on his wife days before she gave birth to his firstborn. He served her divorce papers, walked out on her, and ran off with a D.C. lobbyist. So pardon me, but I'm not going to be lectured about life and family by a guy who does that. And with President Trump, the people here love him. We miss so much the low unemployment levels. We miss the low mortgage rates. We miss the low inflation. We miss the affordability that we used to have in Arizona. I'm here in Mojave County. I was down in Tucson, which is much more liberal, but I'll tell you, even in Tucson, everyone was coming up and saying, we are supporting you. I had people say, I'm a Democrat. I support you. I will vote for you again. It's so interesting that the retirees that I've spoken to, some who are recently retired, Buck, and some who are just about to retire, they're the most concerned about this economy because they've done everything right. They worked hard. They paid taxes. They're now retiring or have been retired for just a bit of time, and they're looking at the cost of living and saying, wow, everything I did and saved for is not going to get me through the rest of my life because I didn't expect us to have the cost of living go up so much under Joe Biden. So people are awake, and they're ready to vote, and they're ready to make a big, big change, and they're ready to vote for President Trump and Kari Lake for U.S. Senate.
And Carrie, I know it's an understatement to say you know this issue backwards and forwards and have dealt with it in a very personal way. Election integrity going into this cycle for your state, for Arizona, have things improved? Because we get people that write in all the time and say, have they done anything? Have they fixed anything? Will it be better this time in Arizona? What do you say to that?
We're working on it. There's several lawsuits that are in effect right now, probably a dozen of them. Some of them are on little procedural things. And, the AZGOP with new leadership, Gina Swoboda, has been really wonderful on letting us know where those lawsuits stand. I mean, we sued, not I didn't, but the AZGOP, I believe, sued to stop illegals from voting here. And the other side sued us back. I mean, it's insane what they're pushing for. They know that these dead-end Democrat destructive, deadly policies are not what the people want. And the only way to get those policies and keep them in power is to cheat or to have illegals vote. I'm really encouraged that President Trump and the Speaker of the House have gotten together on, I think it's called the SAVE Act, which would prevent illegals from voting. It would require blue states to require proof of citizenship before somebody votes. It would punish anybody who is illegal and registers to vote with immediate deportation. And any group or outlet or individual who tries to sign up people knowingly who are illegal to vote would face a 5-year prison sentence. We have to start taking our elections and our election integrity seriously. Some people might say, wow, that's a very long, that's a lot of punishment for just signing somebody up to vote. But when our elections are run fraudulently and when they steal elections, we end up getting things like the disastrous, pullout from Afghanistan that sent $80 billion of our high-quality military, not tanks and missiles and guns and weaponry into the hands of terrorists. We end up with an economy that is in the toilet when elections are not run properly. We end up with a wide-open border. We end up with an invasion. We end up with indoctrination and sexual, grooming of our children. That's what stolen elections create. So I take it very seriously when somebody is signing up someone who is illegal and shouldn't be voting. When they sign up someone to vote, I think the punishment should be severe.
Carrie, what's your website for anyone who wants to help out, donate, get involved?
Thank you. It's KariLake.com, KARILAKE.com. I'm working really hard here in Arizona. This is the most important state in the country. It is the pathway to the White House for President Trump, and it is the way to the majority in the U.S. Senate. We must get the majority in the U.S. Senate. This is where President Trump will have his cabinet members confirmed, his Supreme Court picks confirmed. We need full voter participation. We can't have anybody sit home. We can't have people say, well, I'll just skip this one. Everyone's got to vote this election. We have to outvote the cheat. And I know that the people of Arizona, I'm working closely to make sure that they do that. No one can sit home. Everyone needs to get registered to vote, and everyone needs to vote to save our country.
Kari Lake, she's going to win it for us in Arizona and help bring it home for President Trump. Kari, thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Buck. God bless you.
Appreciate it. You too. If you've got a large collection of old family pictures neatly arranged in shoe boxes or oversized envelopes, let's help you get them all digitized. You want to do this for a couple of reasons. One is making sure these photos last forever, not just for you, but for future generations as well. The second reason is it's easier to share and post these pictures with family and friends as occasions occur. Don't bother with the hassle of buying a scanner and doing this one at a time. That takes forever. Instead, rely on Legacy Box and their tech team. They get it done, and they'll get it done right. Legacy Box offers this service for as low as 7 cents a photo, and that might mean as much as 75% less than what a lot of other companies might charge you for this service. Let Legacy Box help you with this big project. They make it simple. They return every last photo to you when they're finished, along with brand new digital files. Go online to legacybox.com/buck to get started. That's legacybox.com/BUCK. Legacybox.com/buck to find the best deals.